Catherine Fry, who's on the other end of the line. We're going to talk about tomorrow at Cheltenham. Good evening, Catherine.
Good evening, Pete.
Good evening, Catherine. The 135 is quite a complicated puzzle to solve, but is there anything that you particularly like in that 135, the Paddy Power handicap chase?
Yeah, I'm quite keen on the chances of Anne Turge. Reasons being, I mean, he won at Perth in April off 115, and he was quite harshly treated. He was put up to 127. He's still on that mark now. He won over hurdles in Newton Abbot in the summer. Had a sort of warm-up for this season and a conditional jockey's hurdle at Cheltenham at the showcase meeting, and shaped pretty well in that. I must admit, it wasn't knocked about too much. He also he put in a nice performance behind Eastlake a couple of weeks ago at Aintree, and one thing about this horse is he jumps very well, and the Racing Post actually tweeted a picture of him standing off outside the wing of one of the fences in Aintree. He's a course winner before. It wouldn't be sort of vast strength and depth in the race that he won at Cheltenham back end of last April, but I'm very sweet on him. Handles the track, and I believe he's trading about the 10-1 mark at the moment. And obviously, you know, any hotly contested handicap is going to be, the Cheltenham's going to be run at a pretty fast pace. But his jumping will hold up, and he likes the place.
Okay, I think that's been slightly backed as well. Catherine, could you just go slightly closer to your phone if you can? Sandy, you got a view on this race?
Yeah, I agree with Catherine that Annie Turge has got a chance. I think it will be won by a horse that's lowering the handicap. So I've been looking at horses so on target. We can actually come third behind John Spirit, who's set to run in the obviously the Paddy Power over 2 mile 4. That would be enough, that form. If you could recapture, if you could have the same form, I reckon he'd go very close here. He needs good ground. The ground at Cheltenham, I think, currently good to soft. It might even dry out a little bit more. He needs to dictate from the front. You know he's going to stay. I think he's got a massive chance on target. He runs off the same mark. Joe Tizard to ball tomorrow. I think he's about 11-12-1 at the moment. I'm quite sweet on someone target.
Yeah, you get 11s on Bet365.
I don't think he'll lead. I think Now Have You Seen Me will lead. I think he stays further. I think Sam Twist and Davis have him out in front. He stays 2 miles 5. He's going to try and make all. I think he's got a real good chance of doing so.
What's the price of that one, Tom?
There is going to be a lot of pace on tomorrow. That's one thing. You know, there are a few front runners, and that would slightly concern me for both the chances of Have You Seen Me and So on Target. If one of them does manage to actually dictate and jump well out in front, I think they'd be hard to peg back, especially off a low weight.
I think Ballygarvey will also take them on as well. What's the best price on?
Have You Seen Me? Yeah, 14-1 across the board, really.
Right, okay.
Them,
Catherine, any other views on the race?
Oh, not really. I think it's sort of one of those races that you can go through and start sort of putting crosses through them, really. Obviously, I know we did this sort of thing a couple of weeks ago, and we were all quite sweet on the chances of Tindaro. Personally, I can't see Tindaro really shaping that well at Cheltenham. Well, I completely take Sandy's point about the run behind John Spirit was so on target. The problem I'm having at the moment is the form of the Tizard yard isn't sort of that good. So for those purposes alone, I've put the line through the 2 Tizard horses. You've got obviously the former festival winner in the Road Crick, but he is, even with Josh Newman's claim, obviously Josh Newman does get on very well with him, but he is looking sort of very aggressive these days. So process of elimination, Gus McRae, it's lovely weighted there. Patrick Corbett taking off the 5 as well, but I'm not really sure that Cheltenham plays to Gus McRae's strength. I did actually say I haven't got a Scooby-Doo on the gallops at Martin Keatley the other morning, and he looked very well, but he is on something of a comeback mission.
Okay, so your selection for that is Anne Turge?
Anne Turge, yeah.
Okay, Billy, your selection?
Have You Seen Me?
I'd like to touch on having Scooby-Doo, actually, because...
You're going to be really quick, though.
Sorry, yeah. He actually came second in the race 2 years ago behind Tanks for that. He runs off a mark of 127 now. He finished with a mark of 130 that day. He's obviously had his problems and he's pulled up. But if they do go really quick, he'd be held off the pace. And he could be interesting if they really do go fast. And he does manage to recapture his form. You know, I think he's a big price at 20-1. Haven't got Scooby.
What's the best price on that?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, 18s at the moment.
18s, 20s. Yeah, I think
across the board, really. Yeah.
But I'm with someone target though.
Okay, I'm with So on Target, but the other horse, Have You Seen Me? I think will go really well as well. So I'm with Billy. Let's move on to the 205. It's only a 4-runner contest, Catherine, but it's a fascinating one. Arguments could be made for 3 of the 4, I think, and if you have one start. But what's your view on it?
Happy with Oscar Whiskey. One thing I was sort of always been concerned about through Oscar Whiskey's career is that they were determined to make him into a 3-mile hurdler, into a world hurdle horse. He's never been that horse. Made the point earlier today that when he was second in the 3-mile hurdle on trials day, if Oscar Whiskey stayed 3 miles, a horse of his class would have seen him pass Rev de Civila, and then they go and pitch him in the World Hurdle again. I thought that was slightly unfair on the horse. He obviously pulled up there. And to be honest, I think he was definitely telling us enough was enough when he was fourth behind Zarkanda at Aintree. His class took him into fourth place, really. Didn't look happy. Look, he gets weight from tacking to soy. I wish Oscar Whiskey had been sent chasing last year and then contested the Deuce, and we'd be looking at a Ryanair campaign with him this year. I've never been tacking to soy's biggest fan. I'm still waiting for him to show me something, really. I know he won the Challow Hurdle last year. Rumours around that he wasn't quite right when he disappointed in the Neptune at Cheltenham. The Courtney Mackham took a horrendous fall at Cheltenham last time out in the same race as Boulder Sousa with the low sun. He could give a squeak to Romford Pele. It's obviously a forerunner race. It's going to be a lot of tactics being played, but it's Oscar Whiskey for me. Don't forget, he's proven time before that he can act around Cheltenham, and he gets the pull, and he's the class act.
Catherine, if you look at the stats though for that race, you got to fancy. I don't know how you pronounce that. Taquin Dessous, was it? You got to fancy the horse, haven't you? Really, the only 6-year-old in the race, and it's a race that's only ever been won by 6-year-olds. He's won his last 4 of 6. The 2 that he didn't win, he was behind the 2014 champion hurdle winner, the new one, and of course the class was My Tent or Yours. So
it was won by in 2003 Punta won as a 7-year-old. So it's not just.
So it's not quite right then, Tom, is it?
No.
Billy, are you Romford Pele?
Absolutely, yes. This is all about value. I mean, Oscar Whiskey, great horse. I think he's undervalued. He's best 2.5 mile hurdle. Because he didn't stay 3 miles, he's getting a rather bad press. I agree it's probably perhaps a year too late to go chasing with him. But the Romford Pele, Rebecca Curtis, came out last time, ran behind Boulder Success, greatly improved, 12 to 1. Get on it.
OK, you made a point about Oscar Whiskey, though.
Yeah, I think it's an afterthought as an 8-year-old to be going chasing. I think that he's not going to be progressive at this sort of age. I think he's had some very hard races. Catherine mentioned the World Hurdle runs. I think it leaves a mark on a horse, and I just a bit like Grandjoy, I just don't see Oscar Whiskey as a chaser. I'm actually with Taquin Dessous. I personally was not worried at all at his run at Foss-Lass. I don't think his jumping was that sticky. I think he was actually more just careful. I think it was a clever ride from McCoy. I think it was an educational ride.
And Friday would tell us much more.
And I think he'd come on plenty for it as well. I really like Taquin Dessous as a horse. He won it very easily.
Okay.
They are 128 chasers in
I've got to close you there. Yeah. I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
Catherine, selection?
Oscar Whiskey, please.
OK. Thank you very much indeed, Catherine.
No problem.